So this person wrote an absolute novel in my comments. I wish I had the ability to do a long comment like that. It was just like, it was huge. But I do want to respond to what they had to say. Basically, in this treatise, she was like, I understand that Indigenous people from multiple tribes hunt whales, but I also think that that practice is wrong and outdated and they shouldn't be allowed to do it anymore. And that just because something is somebody's traditional culture, that doesn't make it moral or okay, just because that is somebody's traditional cultural practice, particularly when it comes to the food that they eat, it doesn't mean we should allow them to continue to do that. And I guess I just want to say here that proves my entire point, that this kind of whaling activism is based in white supremacy, that this is white women who have their fantasy, their belief that whales are somehow superior or better than other animals, even better and superior than entire tribes of Indigenous Americans. Not just in the US, also in Canada and also in Russia. Part of the restoration of the whaling rights for the Makah people of the Pacific Northwest was the International Whaling Commission granting them the right to harvest 20 whales every 5 years. And at the same time, they granted a tribe in Russia the right to harvest, I believe, 600 whales every 5 years. But really, like so many parts of white woman activism, what we're seeing here is the white woman's right to comfort. It is the inability of white folks to experience, to sit with their own distress, their own discomfort. We don't want to be reminded that whales are part of the food chain. We want to believe that whales are somehow superior. Yeah, they're incredibly intelligent social animals. So are African gray parrots. So are ravens, right? Social intelligence is something that has co-evolved amongst all kinds of species, but we have a particular focus. Whale enthusiasts have a particular focus on whales and want to see whales as kind of these holy, spiritual, ethereal creatures. And they don't want to be reminded that whales are actually part of the food chain. Whales are part of the food chain. They are part of nature. They are connected to nature. And Indigenous people who harvest whales for food and all kinds of other uses, they remind us that whales are part of the food chain, and also human beings are part of the food chain, that we are connected to nature because we are part of nature. We are not separate from her. And that reminder, Indigenous people hunting whales, humans in the food chain, whales in the food chain, that fucks with all of our romantic notions that we have crafted about us as especially white Eurocentric people being separate from nature, and how we want to elevate certain species that we have an affinity toward, that we have romanticized. We want to elevate them to that status of being like us, of being like people separate from nature. We want to see whales as being separate from nature. We want to see chimpanzees as being whatever it is that is your special animal that you have your special adoration for, horses, whatever it is. We see it time and time again, this like, these animals are special. We're going to give them elevated status with humans. All of that is reinforcing a white settler colonialist Eurocentric mindset that human beings are separate from nature, above nature, that manifest destiny is a real thing, that we are, the Christian perspective that we're given dominion over creation, rather than the reality that we are part of creation. We are part of nature. We are not separate. We're not elevated above her. We exist within her. And falsely believing that we are separated has created this rift, has created this division that is harmful for us and harmful for nature. It makes it so it's far easier for us as white people to exploit nature if we believe we're separate from her. Then we don't think that when we harm her, we harm ourselves, but we do. I really think all of this discomfort that we get from white vegan activists, white whale activists, all of it ties back to the white person's right to comfort. The fact that we don't want to be confronted with distressing realities, distressing truths. We don't want our worldview, our belief that we are somehow elevated above nature, separate from her. Whether you want to think of it as having dominion over nature or like we're protecting her, we're stewards of nature. No, we're part of nature. We are part of the food chain. Whales are part of the food chain. Indigenous people remind us of that fact. They have a right to sustainably harvest those whales. They are greater caretakers, conservationists of whales and the environment in which whales live, because they know that they are connected to the whale. They know that they are connected to nature, that how they behave impacts not only the natural world, but them, because they understand that they are part of the natural world. This is a truth that we have forgotten, and we need to reconnect ourselves to. As uncomfortable as it is to have that truth restored in our minds and our consciousness, we need to allow it to happen. The belief that you get to tell Indigenous people how to eat, that you get to pass judgment on them and tell them that there's something wrong with their traditional food ways because it makes you uncomfortable, because it undermines your worldview, your beliefs. You know what that's giving? It's giving missionary vibes, actually. There's this band, Jars of Clay. They hit it really big when I was in high school, 1995 maybe. They're a Christian band, but they had a number of crossover hits, and I was a big fan of theirs for a long time. Even though I am no longer religious, I actually still like a lot of their music. They have this one song that's criticizing missionaries, in particular, the kind of, white supremacy, colonialist attitude that missionaries have. The song is called Light Gives Heat, and there's this line from it. Heroes from the West, we don't know you, but we know best. The audacity, the hubris, the arrogance of white Christian missionaries coming in to other countries and saying, your traditional spiritual practice, your traditional food ways, your traditional culture is inferior. And not only that, but it's sinful, it's wrong, it's immoral, and you need to give it up and you need to adopt our practices. You need to worship our God. You need to eat the food we tell you is moral and clean and good. That's what all of this is giving. It's all white supremacy, all of it.